Well, I originally grew up in Chicago area, and I studied industrial engineering, and I worked with various factories in improving production. And I spent some time with a couple railroad organizations. One was Union Pacific out of Omaha, Nebraska. And I always remembered flying into Chicago, there was like this dirty layer. You know, you could see above clear and below was sort of like a dark gray. And that's what I decided to move out here to Kansas City because I thought it'd be healthier because I loved living in Omaha at the time. And I've done production industrial engineering work here. I'm retired right now. I'm spending my time, working around the house, and I've got 5 acres to whack away at trees and stuff like that, but I'm into this campaign right now. Well, I'm running for, like I say, the United States Congress, 5th District of Missouri, and one of the reasons I'm running is the fact that I see things going on in this country I don't like, and I used to be a long-term Republican, but I listened to different radio, a lot of different radio talk shows, and a lot of these talk shows classify the Republicans they have in Congress, House and Senate as big government statists. With the exception, for example, in the House, they have what they call the Freedom Caucus, which is these were the people who were in 2010, they were the Tea Party candidates who got in back then because they were interested in cutting taxes and cutting government spending. And if I'm elected, I would like to be associated with them. The central issue or main issue would be the national debt. When Trump took over in 2017, the national debt was at $20 trillion. Last year, $1 trillion was added, and then what happens is this year, in March, they came up with this $1.3 trillion budget, which is going to add another $1 trillion to the national debt. And the problem, as this keeps growing and growing, it's going to become unmanageable. For example, I'm holding in my hands a $100 billion note from Zimbabwe. And what happened was, in Zimbabwe, this guy Mugabe, who was the president, he didn't know anything about finance or anything like that. If he needed the money, he just went out and printed $1 trillion. And I see the parallels with this country, that these people in Washington, they just keep increasing the national debt. And the problem is the interest on the national debt. If they have to go, let me go back a step. Say, historically, I have heard that the interest on the national debt, his historic average has been about 5%. If we had to pay 5% on the national debt right now, it would be like $1 trillion just to service the national debt. And then you take about $2.5 trillion for Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. And what happens is they would leave us with about $500 billion, and I don't think we could run the country on $500 billion. And I see that's what's happening right now. They're going to this additional $1 trillion a year to try to catch up on the spending that they require. But I would be looking at cutting out all unnecessary programs, unnecessary departments, for example, Department of Education, Department of Labor, Interior Department. I mean, get rid of these until we can get a handle on the national debt.